Greetings, YouTube. So I find myself thinking about how authors and film writers don't extrapolate their plot line, their story elements, very well. The worst example I can think of any of these would be the entire Star Trek series. They'll bring up a cool idea in an episode and then completely forget it, never to bring it up again. Particularly when they invent some nifty new piece of technology to solve the problem of the day, and yet they never apply that new solution to anything else. That's not how technology works. You come up with something, people start banging at it with a hammer until they find every conceivable way of using it. That's how things work in the real world, folks. That's why carbon fiber is now incredibly common, because people discovered it had unique characteristics that could be used in all kinds of ways, which made it more popular, which made wanting to come up with ways of making it cheaper more important, and the spiral continued. As it became less expensive, it became more widely used, and this will continue. Just as someday carbon nanotubes will become dirt cheap, and they will be everywhere. That's how technology functions. But it works in every single genre that I can think of. An idea is brought up, a concept is put forth, and then it's not extrapolated to its nth degree, as far as you can with your current understanding. And I'm going to give you an example today. Now, first off, I want to explain. I love the Toy Story series. I think Toy Story was magic. Toy Story 2 was awesome and a great sequel to Toy Story, and Toy Story 3 was an incredible ending of that series. The scene in the incinerator had me in tears, okay? So don't get me wrong, I love the Toy Story trilogy. But there are some really glaring holes in the logic behind what the Toy Story universe brings to us. Take, for example, in the Toy Story universe, toys are real. They don't just sit there on your shelf. This guy, when I'm not around, gets up and interacts with all the other trinkets in my apartment, and there are a lot of trinkets in my apartment. This, by the way, is Einstein. And they do this as entertainment for each other and as interacting so they can become better at being toys for their owners. They want their owners to be happy. They want to make sure that everything is safe in their environment for themselves and their owner. To that end, they will break the one cardinal rule, which is never let anyone know toys are real, to save themselves. And they do this in the first movie, coming to life in front of a bully, to scare the bully into never touching a toy again. So they have one cardinal rule, and they break it to save their own asses. Alright, so now we have that established in Toy Story. And this continues in Toy Story 2 and 3. They go to great deals of effort to make sure that no one sees them, because that's the one cardinal rule they're not supposed to break, which they've already broken in the first film. Now, how could they use that for good? Think about this for a minute. Think about every single child that's ever had a toy, and most kids have at least one or two toys. And every one of those kids that has been in danger or in harm, and the toys did nothing. They didn't save any children from fires. They didn't save any children from abuse or being beaten. They didn't save any children from being starved. Why? Because as long as they remain silent, their secret remained kept. Yes, you may think, oh, that's absurd. Yeah, it is absurd. Toys aren't real. They're not going to start walking around having conversations when I'm not in the room. I know I photographed them. No, but seriously, that's what the Toy Story universe says. The toys will take care of themselves above and beyond the human beings they are said to care about and love. That they would rather keep their secrets safe than benefit the children who are supposed to be their most intimate companion. That's the message I took away from the Toy Story series in the subliminal subtext. That the toys will not take care of us over themselves, which is kind of a selfish way of looking at the world. But I know, people are going to say I'm nuts. You may be correct. But it's just an example And the one that comes to mind is I just watched someone talking about Toy Story 3, which was an incredible film. But it's in my head at the moment. Why is it that we gladly accept this fanciful storyline, and it's a great storyline, and yet we don't extrapolate it to the next level? Why aren't these toys helping their children? I'm curious what people have to say, other than, Tetsubo, you're insane. I don't really need to hear that. But do you have a comment? Do you think that authors and scriptwriters don't extrapolate things far enough? Are you annoyed by Star Trek and their silly use of the weekly MacGuffin that they never use again? I'm interested in knowing.